Hello, and welcome to another episode of Stocks to Watch, where we help you make smart decisions about your finances and investments. I am Munir Barazi, your business analyst and host. And in this special episode, I'm talking with Eddie Zed, a seasoned Wall Street day trader turned tech entrepreneur. He founded Easy Trading Computers and Easy Breakouts to merge his twin passions, markets and technology. We'll talk about how technology can improve traders' performance. So make sure you stay along. Hello, Eddie. It's good to have you with us today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're quite welcome. So, there's a lot for us to cover today. Let me get right into it. You aim to make trading technology accessible and affordable for all traders. I am a trader myself, and I know how important that is. Um, so, which technologies do you believe are most useful in today's markets, particularly in terms of enhancing traders' performance?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
To kind of take a step back we have to take a step back in terms of thinking about the performance to just recognize what the problem that many new traders and many even veteran traders run into. And the problem is, most people don't realize how much real time data we're taking in via your broadband or your internet connection. Think of trying to stream 10 Netflix movies all at the exact same time. That's how much data is pouring into your computer. It's a literal fire hose of real time data. And you know, when you go to Netflix and you load it on your TV or your phone, you first load the app and you get a little spinny wheel for 5 to 10 seconds. And then the thumbnails come up. That 5 to 10 seconds is something called buffering. And what's happening is a huge data delivery is happening in the background to your device, and your phone or your TV is turning it into those images and everything that pops up. In trading, you cannot have that kind of delay. That's that buffering delay. That information needs to be spot on real time. And if you have a computer that can't handle that fire hose of information, what happens is the data gets bottlenecked. And it might just be for like a fraction of a second. It can be up to several seconds. More than likely, it's just a fraction of a second. However, that fraction of a second changes the prices that you see on your screen. So you might go to buy a stock like Apple, for example, and you go to buy it at, let's say, I'm just throwing out a number, 215.50, and you put in a market order, and by the time you get your report back, it shows 215.80, like 30 cents away from where you expected. That's called slippage, and that's because the data you see on your screen is just a fraction stale. And by the time you sent the order in and it got executed, it moved even further away from what you saw. That's called slippage, and it's very frustrating to traders. So what happens is traders get very frustrated when this happens. It triggers something called a fight or flight response. And for traders, trading is a peak performance activity. And if you trigger that fight or flight response, I personally, for me, it's a fight. It's a fight response. It leads to really bad decision making. And 80% of trading is what's going on up here. It's your mindset. You start losing some money. For some reason, there's a thing about trading. It brings up all your head trash, everything from childhood. Any little bugaboo or personality quirk you have comes right to the surface, and it leads to really bad decision making. For me, it leads to something called revenge trading, where you just totally get away from your methodology. You make bad decisions and you lose more and more. It's like a downward spiral. So that just if we kind of just take a step back from that standpoint, the mistake that a lot of traders make is they trade on a computer that's just underpowered in the world where we have 1 gigabyte internet speeds. We have tremendous internet speed now. We have all this data flooding in. And if you're using a laptop that's, say, 3 to 5 years old that you bought at a big box store, just like a big retail store, you probably shopped for one of the lower price machines, and they're just really not, they weren't designed to handle the level of data that we have today. And then I know I'm elaborating far here, but if you're a trader, you might have 2 or 3 or 4 different trading apps running. You have different charts with different time frames running. You have tons of indicators running on these charts. You might have like a trading room, somebody who's talking about trading going at the same time. These are all huge resource hogs. So you want to be set up where the amount of resources you're using in that data stream does not interfere with your workflow and trigger that fight or flight response.
Wow, I'm really glad you framed it that way, and there is so much to unpack here in what you said, and I agree with you that slippage is a huge issue when it comes to trading results. It because trading is a very data sensitive activity, and
Extremely.
this data needs to be very timely. We're talking about parts of a second.
Spot on. Spot on. The data you see, the prices you see, your indicators, because they're taking in that data, they're turning it into those. For example, maybe you have a moving average on a chart, or several moving averages, or stochastics. Your software is being run on your processor. That processor has to be able to manipulate all that information and show it to you in spot on real time. And if you're running, say you're watching like 50 different symbols,
Mm,
all of that's going on in the background. That's why I use that analogy of like 10 Netflix movies. It's an unbelievable amount of data and so many things going on at the same time. And then let's say you have a Zoom room, or you have somebody's trading room. That's a resource hog.
mm.
There's many things that can bog down that machine.
Absolutely. Uh, Spot on, actually. And you really focus on helping traders take their technology to the next level to solve that particular
Yes,
problem.
absolutely.
Um, do you usually notice that traders see a measurable improvement in their performance following this upgrade?
Yes, 100%. Because so many people, they feel they can just take, their kid's laptop, or someone who just uses their lap. If you're a regular user before you learn to trade, maybe you just use it for Facebook and for searching stuff and Amazon and Instagram, which are not really low impact activities to do on your laptop. So it's like trying to race in the Daytona 500 in a Prius.
Yeah. Absolutely. And of course, people have different styles when it comes to trading. Some
Yes,
are more short-term oriented. We have day traders, we have swing traders, we have even
right,
position traders, we have portfolio managers even.
right.
And each of those have different needs. How do you adapt
Absolutely.
your solution to those specific needs?
Sure. So if you think of the computers that we offer as the Corvette, I don't know if you're a car guy. I like cars, so I like to use this analogy. The 2025 Corvette, there's a couple different levels. There's the base model Corvette. It's super fast. It has like 485 horsepower. Very, very fast car, but there are higher levels with more and more horsepower. So our base model's the Corvette. It's going to eliminate slippage. It's going to eliminate freezing. It's going to eliminate things called data bursts, where the data flashes on and off. It's going to take care of all those problems. For a person who's maybe a swing trader or a day trader, but they're only looking at a couple different symbols, it all really depends on how many apps you're using simultaneously, how many resources you're using. Some day traders are just trading, there's people who just trade the S&P 500, either the QQQ, that's all they trade. And so that's all they're watching, and they don't have 100 different indicators running. And then there's other people who might they really nerd out and they get into back testing. Back testing is like writing an algorithm, which is a nice new word we used to call a formula. They try to formulate trading. They try to wrap a set of rules around a trading idea, and then they back test it. They test like the last couple of months of trading to see if their rules would have generated a return. That's a very resource intensive process. In that case, we would go to the Corvette Z06 version, which is like my market timer easy trading computer. If you are running multiple trading applications, so I mean, for me, I run TradeStation, I run TradingView. Sometimes I'll open Thinkorswim. I'm monitoring my team. I look at video feeds. I got a lot going on. I want to have overhead to do anything I want and never really have an issue. And so then I require what's essentially the Corvette ZR1 version, our highest end machine. So it's all about how the user uses the machine, how they plan on using it in the future. There's a lot of buzz. Obviously, it's not going anywhere. It's AI and AI trading tools. Now, I'm 56 years old, and I've kept up with technology since I'm like 10 years old. And it's true. The AI stuff is happening so fast. It's really hard to keep up with. And it changes every day. It's hard. It's hard to keep up with. So what's happening in the trading world is the major trading applications, the Trade-of-8, Rhythmic, TradeStation, Thinkorswim, NinjaTrader, all these different platforms are trying to figure out what tools to integrate into their platforms. And right now, most of them, the way they work, they do all their AI work in the cloud. But if you're creating algorithms or ideas, you're going to want to store those programs locally on your trading machine. You're not going to want for it somehow to get leaked. All of that type of processing is going to be done on the graphics card, believe it or not. And NVIDIA is the leader. So you want to make sure you also combine the main processor of the computer with a good NVIDIA GPU or graphics processing unit. And that will help future-proof what's happening in the future. And if I get it, if you've been trading for a while and you're just like, I can't stand AI or hearing about it every day. It's so hard to keep up with. I feel that way too. Your phone sometimes, you open up your phone, you look for an app and it looks different. You can't find the app because the icon looks different. I get it. But you do want to future-proof your machine. So that's a big part of it as well. And there's no doubt. I mean, 3 years ago, were we talking about AI? No. So if you bought a desktop or a laptop 3 years ago, that thing is just not designed with AI in mind.
My old one keeps overheating, even though I don't run very heavy stuff on it. But to your point, it's hard to keep up, and those applications are becoming so sophisticated that we do need newer machines, more capable machines to handle all of those applications and the privacy and the security of those. And I'm really glad you mentioned backtesting, because when I am testing a strategy, backtesting it's not confined to just backtesting. I usually want to optimize it, run different parameters to see which ones are generate the best return with the lowest risk.
Right. You're in the rabbit hole.
Yes.
And I know that developed over time. That wasn't, what you first started doing, and you might have not even discovered it or thought of it. Or maybe you're the engineering type, or maybe you thought of it immediately. But so you're in the rabbit hole, and that's why the resource aspect's a big deal.
It is a very resource intensive process, absolutely, as you mentioned, and you need a Corvette for that. My favorite car, by the way. So.
Oh yes, yes, I am a Corvette guy, so I'm happy to hear we're speaking the same language.
100%. Eddie, you wrote a book a while ago titled Secrets of a Successful Trader. I'm sure technology plays a role, but what other factors are important as well in making a successful trader?
Oh, so The biggest and most important one we've talked about a little bit, and that's what's going on up here. So that's going to be like 80%. 80% is trying to maintain a Zen-like space in your mind while you trade, and having a methodology, a rules-based methodology that is repeatable. Nothing's going to be 100%. Even if you find one that's under 50% accurate, meaning under 50% win rate, if it gets out of the losers really quickly and it holds on to the winners a little longer, you can still wind up with a positive return. So that's a big part of it. And then being able to stick with that system. And what happens with emotions when you get into a trade is your mind, with real money. I'm not talking about simulated money. I'm not talking about these funded trader accounts. I'm talking about your own money. Is your mind really wants to override these rules that you've committed to. Your mind goes crazy. We have monkey minds, and we want to override these rules, and we want to be right. It's really, it's a human part of the human condition is to be right. And that's it's at least 80% of trading. So there's the psychology, and then finding a good system, a good methodology is in the 20%. And I would also say finding a mentor, somebody who's created a methodology that works. So like for me, William O'Neill, he created the Investor Business Daily newspaper, which it doesn't exist in a printed form anymore. It's only online on investors.com. But in that system, he describes a methodology for trading. It's more of a swing trading, buy and hold for less than a year type of methodology. I've refined it more to a day trading strategy, but that's what I've built my own strategy. And with 25 years working on it already, I've refined it to where the expectancy is positive. So that's a big part of it. And you know what? Even though that book is like 10 years old, and none of those things I just said are different. They're in the book. I think they're just universal, and they will continue to be universal. And speaking of which, somebody might argue, well, with AI can now automatically do these rules for you. It might be able to run these algorithms for you, and you can just sit back and you're going to have an ATM machine by some rules you gave to AI to apply. Well, program trading's been going on since the 70s. There's nothing new here with AI. AI is programmed by human beings, and human beings have the same emotions and there's nothing that the AI is going to figure out beyond what humans have tried to do with trading. So in other words, don't try to look for the holy grail methodology. And honestly, I think you can automate big parts of trading, but at least right now, it can't be completely automated where you press a button and you turn your computer into an ATM machine. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't work that way. I've been in this game long enough to know
the holy grail ATM machine program.
There is no set it and forget it. I haven't seen one, at least. So you're spot on. I mean, AI helps. Absolutely.
On so many things. But yes, for sure.
You still need to be the leader of the trading process.
Right.
You still need to be in charge of it all and not just let AI do the whole thing. And I absolutely agree with you on the fact that it is all in your mind. Trading is a mind game, essentially. And what happens with many people is when they switch from a simulated account into a live account, that's when they start living in a high stakes situation. And
it's totally different. I think it's valid to use a simulated account to figure out how your software works. If let's say you're using TradeStation, find all the commands that you're going to use. Find, how to put in a stop loss order instantly, and you can, practice setting up your trades. You don't want to do that practice with real money, because you're going to make a mistake and you're going to have some accidental live trades and lose money. That's where I think simulated is valid. But other than that, the emotions of trading, it's a totally different game. I mean, it's like you can go down to the boxing studio and, work out and practice boxing, but now you're getting in a ring.
Mm.
Every human emotion comes in. And for a lot of people, it's a fight or flight response. It gets triggered when it's your money, because your money, a lot of us interpret money, the psychology around money is a survival mechanism. Money is a survival mechanism. So that's really where you can open the great thing today is if you trade stocks, there's no commission. You can open an account with $500 and you could practice trading, and the most you're going to lose in that account's to $500. And even in crypto, I mean, you can open small accounts and you can practice with real money. But I think having that emotion and just gradually scaling up, that's what's going to work. That's how you're going to learn. And trading's it's like playing an instrument. You have to get your 10,000 hours in before you start to get good at it.
Yeah.
It's not a get rich quick. It's not a hobby. It just isn't.
Unfortunately, many people think it is a get rich quick, and it's when people have that mindset, it's basically get poor. Very.
Yeah, it's like a 90% plus failure rate for people who try. It's so high. It's so high, and it's sad.
And that rate is persistent, actually, even if
yep.
That rate,
like 50 years.
And it shows you just human nature.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I mean, my whole career has been Wall Street. I started 87 right after high school on the floor of the New York Mercantile Exchange. My dad was a futures trader. I was fortunate to have that experience. Then I became a stockbroker right after. But Wall Street, I don't want to badmouth Wall Street, but Wall Street is set up to take amateurs' money. It's set up to take most people's money away from them, unfortunately. So if you know that in the back of your mind, I'm not saying that there's all bad people on Wall Street, but there are a lot of snake oil salesmen out there. There's a lot of snake oil. So that's why I like what you guys do, because you're not that. I mean, you just have to look at YouTube to see all these crazy channels around trading, how incredible. I thought this way when I started years and years ago looking at YouTube. It's unbelievable now.
I mean, we do try to give people the information they need, and it's their part to make the decisions that work best for them. Because of course, I can give you my strategy, but I cannot guarantee that it will work for you, because you have a different personality, different preferences, different risk tolerance levels. So
different personal history, different head trash.
Yes, absolutely. Triggers and so forth. And you also wrote another book, Market Profits. So what key insights or wisdom can you share from that one?
So I would just tell you that both books are pretty similar. And so back in the old days, before there was so many podcasts, what I did was just in both books, between the two of them, I interviewed 18 different traders. Then I had the recordings transcribed manually. Now you just load it up into AI and it spits it out. It's just remarkable all by itself. But we used to do it manually. You find somebody to listen and type it out in a document. Then I had it professionally edited, and then I had them both put into books. But I think the wisdom from both books are the same. I mean, it's the same wisdom in there, which is a lot of the things we already discussed: the psychology, the methodology, the mentor stuff.
It is a sport. Trading is a sport.
Yeah, it's a peak performance activity. I like to say.
It's true. That's true. And you need to be at your best to deliver the best results. It's not just clicking buttons as people think. It involves a lot of cognitive workload, so to speak, and
can be exhausting. And a lot of time you're spending waiting. If you have specific chart patterns that you follow, I only follow 4 chart patterns. 4. And when one of them is the cup and handle, for example. That's what I day trade. That I have figured out how to find them, how to trade them with a very good win rate, and I know exactly where to put my stop loss order. Uh, there's a lot of time where you can go days where nothing's really set up in a way that totally matches your system, and so you have to be like a lion behind the bushes, waiting for your prey to come by. And I'm a type A, as you could probably tell. I'm like a busy guy. I'm a doer. And so waiting is hard for me. And it is for a lot of people. It's not an activity. For example, if you start some type of online business, something creative, any type of business where there seems to be a correlation between how much energy you put into it on an hour by hour basis and the return you get. Trading is not necessarily like that.
It's the inverse of that.
Yeah, exactly. Less is more.
It is. And the thing is that we're programmed, or we're built to think that we want to do more to deliver more results. And that's not how it works, because waiting is actually sitting there and just watching, just doing nothing. And that's exceptionally hard for so many people. And
Right.
so many.
That's why I started the computer side of it. So I would have a constructive related business that I can work on. Well, after I put my stocks that I want to watch and put the alerts on them, I can work on something else and not. You can really get addicted to every tick, staring, looking at every single tick, and you become a little neurotic over time. It happens. I could become OCD. It really happens. So you have to watch out for that.
Absolutely. My last question for you, Eddie. There are many traders watching us today. I reckon many of them are beginners. So what tips or recommendations can you give them so that they can accelerate their journey towards profitability?
Again, I would say it's really a summary of everything we talked about. So what's going on up here is important, and protecting your fight or flight trigger. That fight or flight trigger, that's your enemy more than anything. So whether it comes from you making a bad trade or losing money, but it can also come from you have an underpowered computer and you get that blue screen of death. That in the middle of trading, that's a trigger. Or you enter an order and to buy something or to sell something, and the price that you get filled, that's totally different than what you expected. That's a big trigger. So that's the number one thing, is protecting your mindset. And it's practice. It really is practice. And then the same things we talked about: methodology, finding a mentor, having a repeatable rules-based system that is proven to work. Those types of things. And I can give you a couple technology tips too, because that's one that you can easily prevent. It's not up here. The technology side is something that if you make the right investment, you don't have to spend 10 grand on a huge computer setup. You really don't. But that you can prevent that. A lot of things, the triggers in your mind get harder to prevent as much as you want. Prevent acting out, but they're still going to happen. So if I was going to give a short list of things on the technology side, I would say, number one, make sure your internet is as fast as you can buy in your home or wherever you're trading from. And make sure whatever computer you're using is wired into the router, because that is always going to be incrementally faster than wireless. If you're on wireless, the farther you are away from that router, the slower it gets. So those are simple things. They're not even expensive. Have a UPS battery backup. So if the power goes out for any reason, you can switch to your phone, or as a backup. I wouldn't recommend day trading on a phone, but you have enough time at least to close your computer down properly. These are easy, inexpensive things. Quick, short list of the top things you need on the computer side, whether it's a desktop or a laptop. You want to look for the new series of Intel Core Ultra 7 or Core Ultra 9 processors. And you want to make sure that these processors have something called a benchmark score, which is like a horsepower score that's over 25,000. And if you go to my website, easytradingcomputers.net, and then you just type in after that /CPU, I'll walk you through how to figure out what CPU you currently have and what its benchmark score is. And then we list what the units that we sell, what the benchmark score and the newest stuff is. So it's like you want to make sure your computer has enough horsepower. That's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
And so there's a Ryzen 9 series that's brand new. These are all AI ready. They're really a big boost from just a year ago. And then, as we discussed, you want AI ready NVIDIA graphics cards, even on a laptop. A lower end laptop may have a new Intel Core Ultra 7 or Core Ultra 9 processor, but it doesn't have the graphics card. So then your main processor does all the video work. And so then it's doing like, double shift duty, and that's a problem. So you can get hosed up or bottlenecked with that. You want at least 32 gigabytes of RAM. You want Windows 11. A lot of people still using Windows 10. I don't get it. It's about to expire. And then you want someone who has your back. Like you buy a machine and for some reason it feels sluggish, or there's a malfunction, or many times just a Microsoft Windows update can hose you up. You want somebody you can call who's going to help fix that for you. So what I've tried to do is, what we do is offer a premium level of technical support for the lifetime of the machine. It's my team. They only work with traders, so we know what traders go through. It's not like when you call Dell or HP tech support and you're routed to a place where they really don't know what you're talking about, and you might even have a hard time understanding the other person on the line.
That can be frustrating trying to.
So I think those are really like the most important items.
Agreed, very much so. And if someone is interested in learning more about the computers you offer, where can they find that information?
My website is letter E, letter Z, tradingcomputers.net. And then I highly recommend, if you do go to the site, scroll down to the footer, there is a form. Put your email address in that form, and I will send you the complete guide to trading computers, where I explain step by step exactly what you need in trader speak, not in like geek speak. I will not overwhelm you or try to, as my dad used to say, baffle you with BS. A lot of these gaming, even Dell, you go to Dell's website and you look to buy a computer, endless options. Most people don't know what they need. If you go to Best Buy, those guys don't know what you need either. So I've tried to make it as easy as possible for traders. Traders want to trade. They don't want to tinker around too much under the hood. They know they want the Corvette. Like I own a Corvette, but I don't want to work on the Corvette. I want to drive the Corvette. So that's why I've tried to really make it into plain English, easy to understand guide. Also, check out my YouTube channel. I'm putting up videos every couple of days now about trading technology. Just go to YouTube and put in Eddie Z Trading and in their search box, and you'll see my channel there. And that'd be a great place to find me as well.
I'm sure many traders will appreciate the fact that you speak their language, the same language. So it should make things smoother for them. Eddie Z, the founder of Easy Trading Computers, thank you so much for being here today. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon on this show. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. All the best.